Hello everybody and welcome to Chompt Down Reviews. Thank you so much for joining us to talk movies, comics, games, theater, and whatever the flavor of the week is. My name's Ben, and with me is my good friend Josh Kaplan, and this week we have a special appearance by a very special friend of mine, Marcus Moan. We're going to talk about the Star Wars Rouge One trailer. We're going to talk about Civil War build-up like Doctor Strange, and we're going to talk about the new season of House of Cards. Join us on the CHOMPTcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the CHOMPTcast. Welcome to episode 2 of the CHOMPTcast. This week we have the same guest as episode 1, but we have him in digital form this time. Welcome back to the show, Josh Kaplan. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, dude?
Oh, it's going good. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing well. It's raining here, but...
It's raining here, too, and there's also
That's
a
crazy.
cop chase outside, which is not very exciting. I want to get this right out of the way at the beginning. I'm not in my normal shooting location, and yeah, there's a giant Goofy behind me. There was a giant Minnie and Mickey too, but I had to get them out of the way. Josh, you can't see them yet, but you'll see them eventually. The Goofy's kind of extreme.
That's cool, though.
But we don't have many Disney movies to discuss this week, but we do have a lot of superhero movies to talk about. So I guess we're going to start there with, first of all, one of the biggest news things that came out this week was Suicide Squad's reshoots. Have you heard about that?
I heard vaguely that they're reshooting some scenes with the Joker, I heard.
They're reshooting a lot of it, $50 million worth of the movie, to make it more like the trailer.
It comes out in August.
Uh-huh, it's coming out real soon. It's kind of scary.
Why are they reshooting it? Because this is one story I'm not caught up on.
Batman vs. Superman was really dark, and people really enjoyed the comedic tone of the trailer, so they're trying to put more of that inside of it.
Alright.
Which, I can understand that. But I hope it doesn't become more and more of Harley Quinn's, demon in my head jokes, because, while some of the jokes were pretty good, some of them didn't necessarily land, so if they try to do too many of those, that could fall flat.
So it seems like, it's funny, because one of the main differences between Marvel and DC was that DC movies were always serious, and they weren't allowed to laugh, and Marvel movies were the lighter movies. So, and I remember, hearing that, we can't laugh in DC, we can't have jokes in DC movies, they need to be serious movies. So it's interesting that they're finally, they're realizing that you can't have total darkness without a little light, but I wonder if they're just going to go completely overboard with it and make it a comedy.
It's especially interesting because it's, the villains are the main characters.
Yeah.
And you have a movie that's your three main superheroes from your franchise, and it's a super dark movie, and then you have all of your villains, and it's
going to be a light comedy.
Yeah, it's so strange. That's weird angle to take. All right, well, on to the next story. This isn't a superhero story, actually, but how caught up are you on the situation with Nolan's Dunkirk right now?
Is Harry Styles cutting his hair yet?
Well, I was going to get to that, yeah. I don't know if he has cut his hair yet, but he's definitely going to have to. If it's not known yet, Dunkirk has a pretty serious cast.
That Cillian Murphy's joining the cast.
Exactly. Cillian Murphy joined the cast this week. Yeah, pretty insane. But he's joining the cast of Mark Rylance, which is pretty awesome. Both of them are kind of Nolan mainstays, actor-wise. And
did you know
Harry Styles, which is just interesting.
Did you know Rylance was in a play in Cambridge in January?
No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, a one-man play.
That's it.
The American Repertory Theater. Yeah.
That kind of relates to our next story, but yeah. So, what do you think about Dunkirk from what little information we have of it?
I think Christopher Nolan's definitely the most interesting director of our generation. He really is our generation Spielberg, in a way that what other, besides maybe Quentin Tarantino, what other current director out there where every movie that comes out that's made by them is an event?
You're right. I feel that. I can't think of a Nolan movie that hasn't been a huge deal.
Obviously the Dark Knight movies, and then Interstellar was a big deal. Inception obviously was a big deal. So every one of his movies that he makes, it's so unique where it isn't obviously superhero movies are event movies, but him, and then maybe to a lesser extent Quentin Tarantino, just because Quentin Tarantino has a less of an audience.
Well, talking about making an event, if you're gonna bring up Quentin Tarantino,
Yeah, that's true.
with
But
Hateful Eight. That was pretty insane.
that was awesome. But he really is probably the most iconic director of our young lives so far. So it really would be interesting to see what he's gonna do, because this isn't really a sci-fi movie, correct?
This is a World War II movie.
Yeah, and I mean he has his same batch of actors. I know Tom Hardy's in it, and
I don't know if Tom Hardy's confirmed to be in it.
really, I
Yeah.
heard he was confirmed.
He might be. I don't think so though. But
Oh.
I think just the fact that like Christopher Nolan's casting is always like spot on.
Yeah, Michael Caine's back in the movie.
So the fact that Harry Styles is in this cast has got to say something for like Harry
His
Styles'
level.
acting ability, don't you think?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because like realistically, like Justin Timberlake before he was the triple threat that he is today, he was just in a pop band.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're gonna get when you have like the main person from One Direction. I think it's pretty interesting.
Do you know who like really gave Justin Timberlake his like mainstream or regular
No, I don't,
actor
I
now?
guess.
And Social Network, that was a David Fincher movie, and he cast him as Sean Parker.
Was that like his first? That wasn't his debut into movies.
That wasn't
was
his
it?
debut, but that was like his like first like work in a real actual movie, not like a
That might have
dance
been the
movie.
first time that I realized like, oh,
This
Justin
kid
Timberlake's
can act,
kind of
yeah.
serious.
yeah.
I dig it. Well, you this week have been working your way up to getting ready for Civil War. Am I
I
right about
have.
that? Well,
I'm
before
so
we start talking about that, I want to get into another movie that we're getting out, like a trailer for very, very soon. Doctor Strange is a movie coming out, I believe... Oh, man, I don't remember where it's coming.
It's November, correct?
I wanted to say November, but I was double thinking myself. Yeah, so definitely November. I'm gonna say definitely November because I'm not
Because-
100% sure.
Rogue One's coming out. It's November 4th.
Insane. That's so soon.
Because Rogue
Well-
One's coming out in December, and they wouldn't have two Disney movies in the same month.
Now that you're caught up and ready for Civil War,
Yes.
how much do you know about Doctor Strange, which is right around the corner after Civil War? How prepared for you are that?
I have no idea what to
Well-
expect. I don't know anything about Doctor Strange.
Let me tell you something that might make it seem a little interesting for you, okay?
Yeah.
Doctor
I'm sure it has a very interesting cast.
It surely does, and we will
Yeah.
100% get to the cast.
Yeah.
But, so, Doctor Strange was a comic book that got big in the 60s and the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a surgeon, like a world-class surgeon, loses the ability to use his hands in a horrible accident, goes on a Buddhist sort of trip to find himself, and discovers these sorcery powers that bring him to an astral plane of living that is, like, cosmic, and it's really, really interesting. So it's based in the 60s and the 70s, so,
Mhm.
like, if this movie's gonna do it right, this is Marvel's chance to make a psychedelic-ass movie. Where,
That's
like,
crazy.
we have magic, we have, like, space all mixed into, like, different dimensions, different powers this guy's gonna have. Like, it should be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited.
But it takes place in the MCU, right?
Oh, yeah, it takes place current day. Yeah.
But it's going to be like, potentially be like psychedelic. And is Doctor Strange, is he a man who travels in time, or will he be
Well-
Doctor Strange in present day MCU?
He'll be
universe?
Doctor Strange in present day, I'm pretty sure. He's definitely gonna be mixing in with the Avengers pretty soon.
That's cool.
He's kind of a mainstay of the fam, you know?
Yeah.
But he's kind of like a character who most of his powers are based on like magic, which come from like talismans.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what he can do is like he can fly because he has a cape that lets him fly. He has the Eye of Agamotto, which is this gem that gives him powers, and so on and so forth, that lets him do different things with time and space, and
Mm-hmm.
so. I'm not like the most well-versed person on his lore, but I'm like extremely interested.
Now, this will be like the third film in Phase 3 of the MCU, right?
Well, what was the first movie in Phase 3?
From everything I've read correctly, Ant-Man was the first film of Phase 3.
Oh, okay, yeah, so it would be the third
Or
then.
actually,
I thought that might have been
Civil
closing
War.
Phase 2, but I'm not sure.
No, you're right. I'm reading it now. Ant-Man is the closing movie of Phase 2, and Civil War is the beginning movie of Phase 3.
So, realistically, Doctor Strange is our first solo movie of Phase 3.
Yeah,
So-
because Ultron and Ant-Man happen almost concurrently.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. To
Yeah,
say the
me
least. So we got all these pictures from Doctor Strange this week. You've seen all of them.
Yeah, I like the gif of Cheetah Ujawal and Benedict Cumberbatch skipping.
Yeah, like jumping into the air. Like they're about to
Yeah.
jump into a portal, but they just look like a bunch of drunk guys doing cosplay in the streets. Beautiful, man. Well, this week on Tuesday on Jimmy Kimmel, we're getting the first trailer for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's right around the corner, and I am stoked.
That's going to be awesome.
We can kind of transition from here into our Civil War talks. But I wanted to start by asking, how many gems do you know where they are right now? And by gems, I mean Infinity Gems.
The Infinity Gems?
Yeah.
So I know we see the first one in the Avengers. The first Avengers, correct?
Well, technically, we saw the first one in Captain America.
Okay. And then we see one in the Avengers, right?
We kind of see them, like, all over the place. So, basically, what we have is there's 6 different gems. One for each finger and one for the palm of that gauntlet that will come into play eventually.
Yeah.
Right? So we have the space gem from the Avengers, the Tesseract of sorts, right?
Yep.
Have you seen Thor 2?
I have not.
Oh, is that the one you're missing?
I had to see that in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, interesting.
That's
okay.
this weekend, yeah.
Well, the reality gem and the power gem are in those 2 movies you've missed.
Yep.
And then we have the mind gem, which is Loki's scepter gem. So the only 2 other ones we have are the soul gem and the time gem.
Yep.
Now, I'm pretty sure that Doctor Strange is going to have one of the gems. I mentioned the Eye of Agamotto earlier. It's this talisman he has. I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of them. But the other thought I'm having is that I haven't seen anyone mention, it's just not really been talked about, but what if one of the gems comes into play in Civil War?
I could see that.
That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
But we have the time gem and the soul gem. So, here's where I want to take this thought, right? Do you think anyone's going to die in Civil War?
Like any of the main Avengers?
Yeah. We see Rhodey getting shot down in the trailer. We don't know if he's dead, but maybe. Never know what's going to happen there. But you haven't seen Batman vs Superman yet, correct?
I haven't, but I know it happens.
Have you been spoiled?
I have been spoiled.
All right. Well, spoilers for Batman vs Superman. I'm going to give it like 10 seconds. Now, I don't necessarily want to spoil it. It's not really necessary. But Zack Snyder decided that it was 100% necessary that he had to kill someone, and that's just take Zack Snyder's decisions how you will. But my question is, do you think Civil War is going to make the same decision where it's come to a head? Someone needs to die. Something needs to break.
Well, this is so in Batman vs Superman, the person that dies is going to come back, correct?
100%. It's like
I don't think Marvel, because Marvel has none of the Marvel superheroes are invincible.
This is true.
They're all mortals.
Thor debatably, but he's definitely, you can take him out if you tried hard enough.
I mean, I don't see Captain America dying.
I do.
Really?
If I had to put money on it, I'd bet Captain America.
I would bet like someone like Black Widow.
Someone like not as major?
Yeah, not as major, but still like one of the major Avengers, one of the original OG from the first movie.
Yeah.
So maybe like someone like Black Widow or Hawkeye.
See, I think they might go for something a little more dramatic.
I'm only saying this because what's his face is already signed on for the next.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans.
They are both signed on, but all right. So here's my thought. Right, the 2 gems we're missing are the soul gem and the time gem. Right.
Yes.
Now each of the gems gives you like a different power over what they're named after. So whereas we have the time gem missing and we have the soul gem missing, and we have all these movies that are going to come into play, it's very possible that they could kill somebody off and have Infinity War be a major part of that, be trying to get back a lost friend, and I think that could be interesting. That's a theory I have.
Especially since Infinity War is in 2 parts.
Exactly.
And that would be... It's also going to be interesting. I'm looking at... There's 2 movies in between Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2. Infinity War doesn't come out till 2018.
Oh, Infinity Wars 1 and 2.
Yeah. So Infinity War comes out, then Ant-Man and the Wasp. and then in July, and then Captain Marvel comes out in March of
Both
2019,
movies
and then
I am
part two.
extremely excited for. I'm very excited for like some of the ladies to get a hold of the Marvel Universe, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I've been reading Captain Marvel recently. She's got some pretty interesting comic stuff out there. But seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp go at it together, that's going to be
That's
awesome.
gonna be dope.
I can't
Have
wait.
they cast Captain Marvel yet?
I don't believe so.
I think Winter Soldier was the best singular movie of the MCU that I've seen, in my opinion.
I could probably agree with that.
And I think Joe and Anthony Russo, I think they have a great handle on the serious and the comical.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that actually Civil War is going to have a lot more humor in the movie than Winter Soldier, which will be interesting. But also, I'm a big proponent of filmmakers and creators knowing that you need to have some sort of lightness in order to counteract the darkness.
Oh, for sure.
Because
Something DC's almost completely missed out on.
Because you can find humor in any situation. Like some of the most dramatic plays and the tragic plays are hysterical. Like you can have humor even in the darkest situations, and you need to have that because you can't have darkness without lightness. So I like that they're doing that with the Marvel movies, and I like the whole idea of, okay, we have these powers, but what are we gonna what's the breaking point of these powers? Where can we do whatever we want? We're clearly more advanced than any army or human power. What is the breaking point? Do we want to be have rules, or we do not want to have rules? I'm interested to see how that dynamic plays out, and also the infighting in the movie. I just think it's really interesting that we're getting superhero movies where we don't know if one of the superheroes is right or wrong, and that it's more gray. It's not black or white. It's not the good guy's always the good guy and the bad guy's always the bad guy.
Sure.
That's really interesting to me, that there's not going to be this black or white where the good guy will win and the bad guy will always lose, because that's how it's always been in superhero movies. And so I'm really interested to see how that plays out, and it's refreshing to see a superhero movie like that, where you're not going to be sure how to feel. Not to the point of the DC movies, because I think they tend to put that over the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the sense of ambiguity between what's right and what's wrong for the main characters.
I agree. I like that what they're fighting over is a lot more serious than just a misunderstanding, like in Batman vs Superman. I like that it comes down to a morality decision, like you're saying.
And I'm also that the villain is itself. Like the villain is the dynamic. There isn't any sort of the villain is the actual conflict.
Well, that we know of.
What we know of.
Because Batman versus Superman very well could have had the conflict being the villain, and we knew from beforehand, but they completely 180'd that, and that didn't become the conflict at all anymore.
Yeah.
And it became about a supervillain and a monster, and so
yeah.
Civil War could take that back alley route if they wanted to. What do you think about Spider-Man? Are you amped on that?
I love Spider-Man.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm wicked excited. Have you heard about the Spider-Man movie?
I know they're going young.
They're going with the
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
You know he's a theater kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's getting a solo movie where they're gonna try to get more of a. If you could find the director of it, it would kind of paint the picture that they're going for.
I'm looking it up.
They're trying to go for more of a comedic feel to it.
John Watts, who directed Clown and Cop Car, which are two English movies.
Oh, who's writing it? I think that might be who I've heard.
The writer of that movie is John Francis Daley. Yeah. Who wrote Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Horrible Bosses.
Yeah, see, that's the one I heard.
Yeah.
So they're definitely getting someone on board who can handle comedic timing. who can handle a comedic character. But this week they released the name of the movie. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Homecoming.
What do you think?
Well,
apparently it's not official, but they bought the rights to that name.
Now, isn't he in high school?
Yes, he'll definitely be in high school.
But he's going to be like, he's not going to be graduating.
I didn't even connect that it might be a dance thing. That would be
Wouldn't that
so
be
weird.
wicked fucking interesting, though?
If it was just, like, literally one night of Spider-Man's life, his homecoming dance of 8th grade.
Yeah.
And he's gotta finish off middle school strong before he goes to high school.
But, like...
And the Green Goblin attacks.
But do we really need to see Uncle Ben die again? You know what I mean? And obviously we're not gonna, because Spider-Man is gonna be Spider-Man already. We're
this is true.
Off in the middle.
We might still get an origin story though.
But they've only cast May Parker, and that's Marissa Tomei, who's very young. They haven't cast anyone else. I just hope it could be really, really interesting.
I just think it's very funny that their name is so right on the head. Like, Spider-Man's back at Marvel, he's back with the universe, so Homecoming. But yeah, so we don't know the villains, we don't know anything really other than the name, our main character, but I'm very excited for that. Well, is there anything in particular you want to say about Civil War before we move on?
I'm happy the Black Panther's going to be in it.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited for the Black Panther.
In that movie, I mean, have you seen any movies by Ryan Coogler?
No.
Creed did Creed, obviously.
Oh, I still haven't even seen Creed. I'm really laughing.
Creed was great. Fruitvale Station's really powerful. It will be interesting to see. Michael B. Jordan is almost like Ryan Coogler's on-screen muse in a way. So it will be interesting to see what he does with the different leading man. But I think Chadwick Boseman's a great actor. Have you
what
seen?
We've seen from the trailer with like him breaking down after like an explosion? Like he looks like he's gonna bring some serious power.
Yeah. I'm excited for Civil War.
Me too, man. I'm very excited. I'm gonna have two episodes this week coming out on Star Wars probably, but as soon as I'm done with those, I'm gonna start working on a new video for my channel for Civil War, and I'm like really excited to start sinking my teeth into like what we're gonna get with that movie.
Yeah, and I love that Ant-Man's gonna be in it.
Oh, that shot of Ant-Man on the arrow in the trailer.
I saw Ant-Man for the first time on Sunday.
Oh, what'd you think?
And that movie was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Ant-Man's a fun time, man.
So good. It was just fun.
Yeah, for real.
It wasn't too serious. It was just fun. And Paul Rudd was great. They had a great villain. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I remember it being a big deal when that movie came out, that like Age of Ultron was such a big movie where like they had cities in the sky ready to drop, gonna break the world in half. And then you have a movie like Ant-Man, which the climax takes place in like his daughter's bedroom with a little tiny train set. Just like a little kid is just going to town mashing his toys together at the end. And it's just a good feeling, a good way to bring it back down to like an even level with your solo movie. I really loved Ant-Man, honestly.
And like the secondary characters were like Michael Pena and T.I. And they were just being funny.
Yeah.
And not like, it was just great. It was just, and I was like
was a little lacking, Yellow Jacket. Yeah. But that's kind of Marvel for you at the end of the day.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though I like Corey Stoll, Peter Russo, for all you House of Cards fans.
Oh, of course. Well, which brings us into our feature presentation. Da-da-da! Segways! Segways are hard, except for when they're easy. So, this week, we have been dying to talk about House of Cards. This show's been out for like a few weeks now, the new season, and oh my god.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished it. What a season, man.
What a season.
What a season of House of Cards. Just absolutely unreal. We could start from the beginning, but like honestly, this show starts off and it just like it starts off downhill from where it left last year. Like the ball's already moving, and it just gets a push and another push and another push until you get the president straight up threatening people in the Oval Office. And oh man. Well, give me your thoughts on House of Cards this season.
I have a question I want to pose for you.
All right, do it up.
and this is coming. I'm a House of Cards fan. I think it's widely entertaining, and I think it's like one of the most watchable shows.
Mhm.
Like, there's a show can be good, but there's like when you're watching House of Cards, you don't want to stop.
No. I got sick halfway through watching it, and I was still like throwing up and trying to make it back in the room to hear the rest of Frank's monologue.
And I think that in itself is an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
But is House of Cards a serious show? And this is I'm not saying what I think. Is House of Cards a serious show, or is House of Cards just a really, really well produced and really, really well acted and really, really well written soap opera?
Soap opera.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's gotten to soap opera levels yet, just because
But
I've been watching
I'm
shows
not
like
saying-
The Flash and like Arrow, and like when we're
Yeah.
talking soap operas, those shows just get out of hand. But why would you suggest that it's a soap opera? What's your reasoning?
I'm comparing it to Scandal.
Oh, okay. Never watched Scandal.
Scandal's is in the same. It's not as good as House of Cards, obviously, because they're constricted obviously by the fact that it's on regular TV and not Netflix. But I think sometimes, I mean, the season ends with President Underwood and the First Lady being
Spoilers!
Spoiler.
We're going to Spoiler Town. If you haven't seen House of Cards, get out. You've been warned. That's enough time.
I'm about to spoil it.
Yeah, if your computer's lagging and you're not out yet, I'm sorry, but we're gonna spoil
Also,
things.
it's been like a month and a half.
All right, so how did it end? Give it to me.
Yeah. So it ends with him looking at the camera saying, "We're gonna go to war just so we can keep our presidency."
That last scene was
And it
so
was awesome.
powerful.
But that is so like over the top. And do you think that if this was on regular TV, would it be more of a soap opera, or because that they're able to do whatever they want since it's on Netflix?
I think they're
Okay.
able to keep it at enough of a serious tone that it doesn't feel like a soap opera.
Yeah.
I think they do a pretty good job of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for those who haven't necessarily seen the finale of this show, this season, and you've stuck around for whatever reason, like this show ends with them making a legitimate power play. Frank just making the executive decision to not save this guy. And it's so messed up how it
Can
all
we,
goes
like,
down
talk
with them just
about-
watching the screen of this guy getting his throat slit on broadcasted everywhere. Just the way that. So, I want to.
They're not like, think about the like consequences for the actions. They're not just like looking like, it's not just affecting that man's life. Like, this is a worldwide decision that they're making just so they can stay in power.
Savage.
Like, the world is going to shift, like, in ways that they cannot imagine. Like, it could lead to another world war.
It's really interesting how like
The world
things
is about
about
to
the show-
change.
Things about the show are like completely wrong. Like today, gas is super cheap.
Yeah.
But then they bring something in like because in the show gas is very expensive. They almost don't have any gas. But in the show they bring in a group. What's the group's called?
ICO.
It's not
ICO.
ISIS. What is it?
Ico.
ICO. That's ICO. Okay. Dynaco from fucking Pixar. Close enough. So they have ICO instead of ISIS, and it just gets really real.
Yeah.
So like.
Did you hear the names of the two terrorists?
No, what was it?
They were Josh and Zach.
Interesting.
They were brothers.
That's very strange.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about the last shot of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's getting his throat sliced open, and he's screaming. The other two are just chanting. I forget what they were chanting, but there was a moment at the end where both Frank and Claire turned to the camera at the same time. And one of my favorite aspects about the show is the way that Frank breaks the fourth wall and just turns.
Absolutely.
I loved that for the first time Claire broke the fourth wall.
And does that mean that she's seen it all along?
No,
That
I don't
she's-
think so. I think she's in on it now. I think that was the show saying like Claire and Frank are now one. Like
Okay.
they become one entity to the point where like, because until now they've been so split
Yep.
on what they've wanted, and this is the first time that they're both completely like we're gonna be in charge, this is our like country, and we're not letting anyone take it from us.
Because Claire really she played the long game really well.
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of everything that happened.
Oh yeah. She had a lot of setbacks.
I just sent you an image of the official poster for this season that I think is really interesting, considering what happened.
Let's check it out, man. All right. So what is it that's interesting? You think?
I just think. Well, I was looking at other. It's the first time when we see Claire in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they're both looking right at the camera.
They're both looking right at the camera, and it is they're notice they each have one side, so it's two parts of a whole.
Wow.
It really is
wow.
we're a united front, and we're.
I love that.
Going to do yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Where do you think they can go from this?
Honestly,
when it picks up next year, it'll still be in the middle.
They're going to be getting investigated, Josh. We're at a level where the president's candidacy is so on the brink of just in real life. What we have right now is a presidential candidate who's being investigated by the FBI, and everyone's will she or won't she get indicted before the actual voting goes down? But in this show, it's almost mirrored, but to such an extreme degree where it's not this guy has another email account. This guy has murdered people.
Yeah.
And how does a country react to its president murdering, being accused of murdering people? That's so insane.
Yeah. That is because I think it's no secret that the Underwoods and the Clintons are kind of comparable.
Kinda comparable. Kinda comparable.
I mean, it's sometimes. I mean,
I'm very surprised that Frank plays video games instead of playing the saxophone is all.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing if they had Claire come from New York, then be come on, guys.
Yeah, true.
But he's a liberal, charismatic Democrat from South Carolina.
I love it.
Yeah. So it will be, and everyone says the Clintons are always out for themselves, and that. But also, the Clintons are also widely intelligent and will sometimes do what's best for the country.
Yeah, sure.
You can't. Within the context.
Let's not change this into a political.
Oh yeah. I'm not. No, but I'm saying within the. I'm just doing the comparison within the context of, the show. Frank's presidency has been a success. In some aspects.
He's gotten stuff done. As far as anyone in that universe is concerned, Frank's... He may be, not the greatest, but...
Yeah. And Clinton, no matter what, scandals, he also got shit done in the White House.
Not to mention that both of these, there's a infidelity theme going on.
And I think it also brings up a question, of do we want our world leaders to be brilliant people but at the lacking morals
in
their regular lives, or would rather our world leaders be very moral and good people but not brilliant leaders? And I honestly think that's a question that House of Cards considers. In the first season, spoiler for the first season. If you haven't seen the first season,
no, that's fine. We're past spoilers.
Frank kills Peter Russo because he's he can't handle this, and he's too good a person, and he can't handle this. He's too moral, and he won't do the cutthroat decisions. So that's interesting to me, and I think why what's the dude's name? The Republican candidate is the most interesting counter to me. Has been the most interesting.
Well, he's the opposite of Frank.
He's the opposite of Frank. No, I don't think he is.
Well, they have a lot of similarities, but they're kind of the same face of a coin. Yeah, they're the opposite sides of a coin. I mean.
Yeah, I think he's just as cutthroat.
Yeah. Oh, he's just as cutthroat, but he just plays a different game. He plays where Claire and Frank are really private and they try to keep everything close to the vest. He's all open.
Yeah.
And he's showing the country everything. And they're going at it two different ways, but they both have the same goals in mind. You know what I mean?
It is to bring in a musical is kind of like a Hamilton Burr dynamic, where they are cut from the same plot. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to bring that up in news. I was gonna try to talk about Hamilton coming to Boston, but
when Marky comes on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make a comparison. Me and you are both really big fans of this documentary. I'm gonna link a really good video about this movie to the top. But this movie is called The Imposter.
Oh, I love that movie.
Now, The Imposter is like an insanely good movie.
It's wild.
I very much suggest it. But the big thing about this documentary is we have a bad guy in mind for who the bad guy in the story is. And while everyone is being interviewed in the story, they're all looking right off camera. And the bad guy is the one person who looks right at the camera when he tells his story. And when I watch House of Cards, I think back to how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, I hear presidential candidates now in real life do, like, bad things, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about voting for them. But then you have a guy like Frank who's looking at you right in the eyes during the show, telling you exactly what he's thinking, right? What his plans are, giving you horrible metaphors. One of my favorite lines from this whole show is, "I love her just like a shark loves blood," and like just stuff like that. Well, he'll just turn and tell you exactly what's going on, and it just, even though he's a bad guy who's murdered other characters that we've also kind of fell in love with, like we still like Frank, and I don't want him to stop being president, no matter how evil he is. So it's just kind of weird. This show really plays with your emotions, you know.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think? Bo Willimon, the showrunner, is leaving the show for the 5th season, so that's going to be really interesting.
So next season things are going to change.
Yeah, it'll be
drastically.
Different. Yeah.
Do you know who they're getting to replace him?
It hasn't been announced.
Ooh, interesting.
He's writing a play. So yeah, he's leaving the show. I wonder if that's like he had his intention about the show and they wouldn't let him.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he wanted to kill off Frank. That has to be Frank's endgame, right?
What?
Dying.
What do you mean?
Like Frank's this like Shakespearean tragic, like anti-hero. Like that has to be like the endgame. Him dying.
I don't see Frank living past the end of the show.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily see him as someone who wants to die, if that's what you mean.
No, I'm saying like that's how his journey will end, though.
Oh, well,
he's gonna die. And like, it would be interesting if they do like. Obviously, they've done the. They can't do another assassination attempt because it already happened. And I don't think they can do.
They could if it went differently, though.
But that's still, and also like a president dying by assassination is almost too convenient.
It could be a lot of things, though.
Yeah. It's so interesting what's going to happen with these characters.
Yeah, I agree.
And are Frank and Claire truly on the same field? Because we had those dream strengths we're having of Frank and Claire beating each other up. And was that just a result of them not being together, or was that foreshadowing?
Yeah,
was that a red
one
herring?
of my favorite parts of the season was the dream sequences. And, like, I'm not crazy about dream sequences in general, but, like, when Frank was in that coma and he's having his victims just not only kind of have their way with him sexually, but literally, like, physically destroy him, just hurting him any way possible. Like, those scenes were so claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I'm surprised the dog didn't come out and like bite him.
Yeah, me too.
That would have been probably too like
maybe
on the nose, but
I really love that though.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
That show's just so interesting, and it's so fucking watchable.
I agree. What would you rate House of Cards 1 through 10, or would you rather do a letter? Because I usually do letters.
I'll do. I'd give it a B plus A minus.
B plus A minus. You got to make up your mind, man.
B plus.
B plus. Fair enough.
Yeah, which is a great. And I'm saying like A plus being like a Breaking Bad. Type of show. Because I don't put it on the same level as that.
Well, how would you rank the seasons with the fourth one involved? Because like the third was really slow, so
I
Isn't that
do
great, bud?
1, 4, 2, 3.
I could almost agree with that pretty much.
Because I loved Peter Russo. I thought he was such an interesting character.
Yeah.
And I think the first season was really.
I'm just really glad they
I
brought
like
Peter
the
Russo
team.
back for the fourth. I loved seeing him. Well, I'd definitely give this a B+ too. I think that's a pretty fair rating for sure.
Yeah. You want to do some Better Call Saul talk?
Ooh, I wasn't planning on that, but we can definitely talk about some Better Call Saul before we're done.
Have you finished the show?
Look, right? I fell asleep before the last episode ended.
I haven't seen the last episode.
All right,
yet.
that's fine. But so we both left off on the Inflatable Man episode then.
Yes.
That episode made me so happy. That montage scene with the colored suits was just
That was so Breaking Bad too.
really Vince Gilligan. Like,
Classic
man, he had a hold on it.
Breaking Bad.
So good. That show makes me miss Breaking Bad hard.
It does. I don't. It's not as interesting as Breaking Bad, obviously. And it definitely isn't on the same level of Breaking Bad.
No.
But it's just.
It's something different.
It's something different, and it feels very comfortable.
Yeah, it definitely
very
is starting to
comfortable
get in
to
its
watch.
comfy stride.
Yeah, and I think they can do some. But the thing with that show is we know everybody but Saul. I mean, Mike. We know what happens with Mike.
Yeah, we know how the story ends.
And I've listened to another podcast, The Watch, which is Bill Simmons' podcast. And the thing with Mike that's interesting, and they brought this up, Mike's essentially a superhero right now. Because you know he won't die.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
And that's awesome, but like, where's the conflict? And I hope.
I think a lot of the conflict sort of comes from Kaylee's mom.
Yeah.
Because while we do know she survives, we don't really know what happens with them. Because one of my favorite parts about Mike in Breaking Bad was just the fact that you have this hitman that at the end of the day literally just wants to put money in an account for his granddaughter who he takes to the park once a week. And I want to know why. I want to know more of that story, you know?
Yeah.
And I'd say, like, I love all the Saul stuff, but I think the Mike stuff's way more interesting.
Oh, this
even
Mike stuff is 10 times more interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mike's going to be the way we get everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's how we're introduced to Saul. I can't remember if we met Mike first or Saul first. I want to say we met Mike first.
Yeah, no, because Mike wasn't Mike. What's his face?
He showed up when Jane died. Spoilers!
Yeah.
But,
Spoilers.
I mean, if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, then you're just...
But Mike worked with Gus. Right?
Mike worked with Saul, and they both worked with Gus.
But
Gus didn't even work with Saul.
Didn't Mike work with Gus, if I'm remembering correctly?
I think
Mike already has his foot in the door with the cartel.
Yeah, Mike kind of... I'm pretty sure he just kind of played all the fields. He kind of was where the money was at, you know?
The free agent.
Yeah. Well, I really suggest watching Better Call Saul if you haven't started yet.
Yeah. And freaking Bob Odenkirk is just...
He's got it, man.
Just fucking acting. And
he's really...
so good.
I'm really glad he's gotten to the point where he has with his career. It's really, really good to see.
And he's just out there, like... He's just a fucking actor.
Yeah,
he's just so interesting, and he's a character. He's an actor. That's the best way I would say it.
I agree. Well,
yeah, and fucking Kim is so good.
The whole cast is really
excellent,
pretty great.
And they're just like we're in hotel bars and like nail salons. It's just like weird, boring settings, but they're interesting.
Yeah, they really find a way to make them interesting. They really do.
Oh, it's awesome.
Well, I guess that's it, really. So, I was gonna cut this, and we were gonna kind of just both give a suggestion of something to watch. But instead, we have another special guest that's gonna join the show. We're here to talk about something that came out just today. We knew it was coming. There was a teaser for the teaser, which was kind of ridiculous. But without jumping into the Rouge One trailer yet, let's get our next guest on here. Welcome to the show, Marcus Mountain. Mark, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you boys doing?
Dude,
Hi,
we're
Mark.
chilling. We're chilling.
Hi, Josh.
How's it going?
It's going good. Nice Brady poster.
Thanks, man.
All right, so Mark, we're here to talk about the obvious at this point. The Rogue One trailer got released today.
Oh, did it? I hadn't heard.
Are you
You
kidding?
haven't.
No, I've watched it about.
That's not funny. What did you guys think? Mark, give me your thoughts first, because you're new to the pod at this point.
Okay,
but-
well, obviously everyone knows how the story comes out anyways. So going into it, I wasn't worried of a Batman versus Superman situation. Of the trailer giving everything away already.
Sure, it gave us plenty of story, but it's not like
Yeah,
it's
it gave
spoiled.
us-
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what Forrest Whitaker does.
Oh, me too.
God.
He's
Because
gonna
he
be a
looks-
bounty
he
hunter
looks
or
like
something.
a
It's gonna
very
be sick.
interesting character. Because the way he's dressed and the way he's presented in the trailer makes it look like he's not part of the Rebel Alliance at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like he comes in halfway through the movie or something.
Yeah.
The Stormtrooper in the all-black outfit looked pretty rad too. That'll be interesting. I think one thing that not a lot of people have talked about is like I'm looking at an Imgur album of a bunch of stills from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 118 in the trailer. There's like a guy in a hood with the two guards with the
Yeah, that's
blade in
one
the
of the
middle.
parts I want to talk about.
Yeah, I have no idea if that's the Emperor, if that's Darth Vader with a robe on for some reason or what.
Or it could just be someone completely different.
Yeah, but you know, I'm just assuming it looks like it's in the Death Star. The guy's got a big robe on. I would
Well,
just assume
the
it
thing
was,
in front of him, the big cylinder device, it looks just like the sort of healing device that they put Luke Skywalker in at the end of the fifth movie.
it does.
Oh no, at the beginning of the fifth movie. My fault.
The tubes in the air.
They put him like in this like incubation tank.
Yeah. At the end when his hand gets cut off.
No, I think it's right after on Hoth
Oh,
when he gets saved.
yeah. At the beginning when he
Yeah.
gets straightened up.
They've got
Yeah, I
some really cool actors in it, playing like what is her name? Mara.
Are we ready to stand Felicity Jones, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Is she gonna?
We're already standing.
Is she gonna like? Where in the power rankings will she be?
Of
What's the
standing.
movie? Of standing.
Who's Felicity Jones?
She's the lead.
She's a girl.
Oh, she's cool.
Yeah.
But you know, half the internet just thinks she's gonna be a Mary Sue like Daisy Ridley was.
Well, we don't know that she's force sensitive even.
I know.
But all the people we have, I'm not gonna be able to find their names in time. But the people in charge, basically of the rebellion, and Mara Tofkin, I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Mara Tofkin, I want to say it is, but like, God damn it! Do you remember the guy that Darth Vader kills on the Death Star? Force chokes him.
Forget his name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, just all the characters that we have playing the older versions, well, younger versions of the older selves. They look really close.
hmm Yeah,
I
like
wish I
at
could
the
remember
beginning,
any of their names.
the
I'm really
beginning of the
blanking on that.
trailer when they're talking to her, and she like looks over and it cuts to the guys standing there at the light board,
Mhm.
kind of. When I first watched it, it looks exactly like a slightly skinnier Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
does.
So I had to do a double take. 'Cause I was like, wait, is Poe Dameron like a vampire and lives like 60 years? But
I'd be down
like-
for Poe Dameron to be a vampire.
yeah, I can see that.
We're gonna get some interesting like fighting styles because there are a couple of actors who have martial arts background.
Now, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple shots where there's a blind bounty hunter using like a staff to fight off stormtroopers.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be like a group of bounty hunters that gets like enlisted to help the rebellion, and like I don't know who's gonna be force sensitive or not, but you have a character wielding a staff that's blind. That's gonna be interesting. We're
Mhm.
gonna get some cool fighting stuff. And with those weird looking stormtroopers, they're definitely like a death squad of stormtroopers that are like elite, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
They're gonna. I'm really cool to see. I'm really
plus-
excited to see how that plays out.
The shot where they're like walking through that little city, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what goes on in there,
Oh yeah.
and to see what's planet it is, because it kind of looks like Tatooine, obviously, just because of the sand, but probably won't be.
Yeah, it could be anything realistically.
Yeah, it could just be Jakku, and we get to see more of that.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need.
Now,
Yeah.
do you think that this is like Star Wars way of doing kind of the Marvel model of like a standalone movie having almost a different type of like style of filmmaking. Like this is going to be more like a gritty thriller type of a movie.
It does look a lot different from The Force Awakens.
Mm.
I could definitely see that.
I feel like Rogue One is going to be their connection to making their like Han solo movie and their Obi-Wan solo movie eventually with Ian McKellen maybe. I feel like this is going to put us in that time period where those movies are more easily reachable.
Yeah. I heard that Han Solo, if whenever they cast it, might be in it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I heard he might make an appearance as well as with Boba Fett. And one of my favorite parts that we might get in Rogue One is we might get a fully fledged like Darth Vader before he even knows that he has a son that's still alive. I cannot wait to see that.
Sick.
Are you guys ready to see Hayden Christensen back in the flesh?
Christensen?
Yeah.
Back.
I don't even hate
Player of the
I don't
year.
even hate him, so if he did play Vader, obviously you'd probably keep the mask on the entire time, but I wouldn't mind it.
Comeback player of the year. Well, if he'll have the voice. It'd just be his body.
Yeah, it would just be him in the suit.
Yeah, what's he been doing lately?
Movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Outcast. I'm checking out that IMDb. It already came out.
Hayden Christensen. I know he made Jumper. That movie was a classic.
That classic Hayden Christensen film. He dated Rachel Bilson for a while.
I know, so he won.
He won.
Well, the last thing we wanted to talk about was Hamilton's coming to Boston really soon.
That is true.
That's true.
Man.
Oh, one more thing about Rogue One. Do you guys know who the director is?
No.
It's the dude who did Godzilla. Yeah.
Godzilla's first couple of trailers looked absolutely phenomenal. And we all saw the end product, and it wasn't all that great.
I'm not going to say I disliked Godzilla, though.
I didn't dislike it. Like, it wasn't awful. But compared to the trailers, it was a letdown.
I feel like my
That
only
first
real like
trailer-
gripe with that movie at the end of the day is the fact that like the main character we end up getting is so stale,
Definitely.
boring. But like other than that, I thought that was a pretty good movie.
I didn't see Godzilla.
I don't know. The trailers, like the ones with Bryan Cranston in it mainly, looked really good. And
There's
then,
a juke out of a trailer.
spoiler alert, Bryan Cranston dies within 30 minutes.
Damn. Well, what's it called? Directors don't cut their trailers.
I know, but
So that's probably like this dude's Gareth Edwards influences are George Lucas, Spielberg, and Quentin Tarantino.
well, I mean,
So
only
that-
two of those guys are good directors.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we might get some great IMAX transitions in this movie, which we're missing.
Really sick.
I love
lights.
Which was missing from
High school freshman broadcasting class wipes.
The Force Awakens, I think.
All right. Well, when is Hamilton coming to Boston, Josh? You tell me.
It's coming the 2017-2018 season. So that can be, and it's gonna be here for at least like a couple of months.
That's a wait, but damn.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
excited.
gonna be a big ticket.
Are we hitting that?
So
up
it could be
together, the three of
anywhere.
us? That
It
gonna
could
a
be
thing?
anywhere from 1 year from now to 2 years.
Yeah,
Well, the
Which
three
is
of
rough.
us are gonna have to make a serious review when we see that movie.
yeah.
Hell yeah. That's
What
I'm
if
saying.
Hamilton sucks by then?
What if Hamilton sucks?
What if
by
it's
then?
washed?
What if it's will it be a brand new cast?
What if you're washed, Mark Mountain?
I'm already washed.
Well, guys, thank you for joining me. Like, this
Of
was a pretty good
course.
time. Me and Josh had some pretty serious conversations, but Mark, I'm glad we got you in here, man.
Yeah, it's great. I wish
Marky Versace?
it was pretty much like, a tornado out there with all the rain.
Yeah, it's a pretty
So-
messy day. Well, I'm gonna put your guys' Twitters up right underneath your pictures.
Thank you.
Are you guys trying to plug anything before you guys go? Anything you want to spread the word about?
I got Celtics playoff tickets.
No, that's not what I mean, you sicko.
No, not really. Nothing off the
You're a
top of my-
savage. Well,
I got a project dropping soon. Can't
Oh,
tell too much details, but
I got.
keep on the lookout.
I think I know what you're talking
Josh
about.
Kaplan, you're always on the radar, bro.
I got one thing I want to drop.
What's up?
Everybody watching this CHOMPTcast should check out Joe Dougie Mosley. He's just a great musician from our hometown.
That was really out of left field, but I back this 100%.
Exactly. You gotta respect the home. Spread the cream. He's just a great musician from our hometown.
Spread the cream cheese on that thick bagel. Well, with that, I'm gonna sign off because I don't really know where to take it from the cream cheese bagel area. Guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and jump back over to the Chompt channel and get more reviews, get more podcasts, and get more whatever you want, fam. Peace out. I'm leaving.